everyone. Now Agatha has from Agotapop Illustration has kindly sent me her new March Tinies on shelves to show you. So I'm just going to quickly show you briefly what you get, and then we'll look in more detail. So you get your March page with all the shelves. We'll look at those in more detail in a minute. Then you get 2 pages of lovely flowers. And then you get some sort of garden-y type items. So we'll look in more detail so you can have a closer look, and then we'll colour something. So let's come in and have a good peep. There we go. So we have the words March in a pretty bunting and Tinies on shelves, and it's all very much a gardening theme, I think. So we have some bulbs planted up. We have a lot of spring flowers. This one looks like snowdrop, maybe cherry blossom and more snowdrops, and this is really beautiful. I think this cherry blossom in a jar with these butterflies, I think that's really lovely. And we have a little pot saying seeds with various things growing. And then we have our sort of equipment, so gloves and scissors and trowel and fork and some string and some little plant saucers and these little vines decorating, and then what I think looks like a sort of hyacinth little pot with a door, which is quite enchanting, and a letter. We go further up, we have some books, garden books, a pretty jug. Then we have some floral cupcakes. These are a little bit different, but look very yummy. And some more different plants growing there. Let's go right up here. So we have a daffodil in a pot, and another little pot, probably a pansy. Bird houses, some tulips and maybe daisies, not sure. Cute little daisy in a bottle, that's lovely. And some string in a box. And then at the bottom we have some more smaller shelves with some boxes, more plants, and a few in bottles, and one on top of some books, and a bucket of tulips. So that's very sweet. Let's have a look at the plants in more detail. These are my favourite ones, but obviously you may prefer others. Excuse me. So I asked Agatha what the names were. She said she had put them on the page underneath, but she didn't like the way it looked. But she's got it in her description on her Etsy shop, so I've copied them down. So I hope I've done it right. So we have a daffodil, a hyacinth and cherry blossom. All right, I'm pretty sure I'm right there. Then lily of the valley. Now, of course, that's a bit of a challenge because it's white, but how I would colour it is do a bit of a background, and then it's a lot easier. We have a pansy and a snowdrop. We have a tulip. We have some striped squill. I looked these up. They're sort of white with blue lines through them. And narcissus, which again is a sort of daffodil. Then on the next page we have, oh hang on, my list has been covered up. Weeping forsythia, dogwood, sweet violet, pansy, crocus, no that's a crocus, freesia, no that is a freesia, oh, I think those are around the wrong way, that's a freesia, that's a crocus. Dog tooth violet, muscan, I think that's what it says, and primrose. Might have misread my own handwriting there. So let's have a look at what we've got on the back. So these are 9 per page, and then these are a little bit larger, so you get 6 per page. So we have some cute little bird houses and florals. I just love the way Agatha draws such a very clean, even when she puts a little bit of shade or lines on, it's so clean and neat. I really enjoy that. It makes it very inviting to fill in the spaces. So we have a paintbrush here, and look at the ladybug or ladybird with these flowers. I like that one. A wheelbarrow, nice tulips. And a little house with 4-leaf clovers. I do like that one too. And a jar of flowers. Now I know glass is really difficult to colour, but you could pretend it's not glass and just colour over this. I mean, obviously you can see the stems, or make it coloured glass. It's a little bit easier, I find, than trying to make it completely see-through. I have dot videos for glass. I'm not going to colour that one today. We have pots on shelves. It's very sweet. Watering can. I like this hat. It's very pretty. And a lovely bumblebee. A nice little house. And a sort of wooden tub full of flowers, which is really sweet. So I am going to actually colour one. I'm going to colour this one. Now this is the, I'm just going to find something to lean on actually. It's the cherry blossoms. It's quite a straightforward one. I'm just going to lean on this book. This is my Johanna Basford planner, which just happens to be in here. In fact, I'll do it the other way around. So I'm not I'm not leaning on the thing, whatever it's called. Yeah, I've got, because I've printed it double-sided, you can see there's ink through, which isn't ideal, but of course it depends how you print it, what you're going to see through. Now I've got my Polychromos here. Now I'm going to do the branch to start with, and that's going to be in bistre. We need to come in a little bit closer though, don't we? There we go. Now, often the cherry blossoms can be very pale, almost white. Some are white, but I'm going to do these in the sort of pinkish variety because I think it's a bit easier to colour. There are no leaves on this particular one. Sometimes there are leaves, but this one has no leaves. That's okay. I don't want my wood to be really, really dark. Oh, we do have a bit of green there, I reckon. See here, where these little really thin stalks are, I think they might be a bit green. So anyway, I'm just putting a layer of bistre down, really, to start with, without worrying too much about anything else. Now, if you don't have these printouts, which I suspect many of you won't, if you want to buy them, by the way, they're on Agotapop's Etsy shop, and I have a code in my description so you get 10% off anything in there. So you can download those if you wish. If you can't afford to buy them, or you aren't sure, you can find other cherry blossom books. This is the olive green yellowish. I'm going to use it a little bit to put a few marks on my branch. I just want there to be a bit of green in here. I don't think it's necessarily realistic, but I think it might then somehow make a little bit more sense with the green here, which I'm going to put on. You may find there are other cherry blossom pictures that you can colour. I know Rita Berman has lots in her Asian book, and Johanna Basford has some in her Ivy book, so there are other opportunities to colour it if you like it. I think it's really pretty. Okay, now I am going to just put a bit more shadow around the wood before I finish this part. I don't want to go too dark, so I'm going to use the burnt umber as opposed to the dark sepia or a black, which is really dark. Just giving it a sharpen. So a burnt umber. I do like cherry blossom. So I'm just going to put a bit around the edge to just try and almost indicate this bit of shadow there, so that our branch doesn't look completely flat. And I'm just going to put some sort of lines in it too. Like there. And around all the edge. Now, this is part of a series that Agata is doing all through the year. one page for each month. And so if you really like this, I haven't done that little bit there, that should be green, you can purchase other months as well. Obviously you don't have to get them all, you can just get ones you particularly like. And just going back to my olive green yellowish, because I missed that bit there. You know, so it is, you know, up to you. Now, I find pinks are quite strong in the Polychromos, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful. I'm using the Pink Meadow Lake, which is the lightest pink, and I want to fade them towards the tip. If you look at, I had a quick look at some cherry blossom pictures before I came through, and they're definitely a lot darker nearer the base of the petal, particularly on an open one where the centre is very much darker. So that's how I'm going to colour it. Now in our centres we have lots of little dots. Going to completely ignore those at the moment, make that quite intense, and then reduce it towards the tip of the petal. Do the same on each one. It's interesting, I was someone was commenting on another YouTuber's post talking about how a lot of YouTubers get burnout through pressure to record. It's quite interesting. I can't predict that I will get that, to be honest. I don't feel pressure to record. I colour so much that I just really enjoy it. I do get like to the point in a day where I can't record more because my voice is either going or I'm running out of things to say, but the next day I'm fine. It's not burnout, you know, in that sense. So I can't see it, I don't know, but you know, I haven't been doing it as long as some people have, so it's hard to predict completely. Now this one, we've got this turned over a bit, put a bit more in there just for a bit of shadow. So I'm going to make those turned over bits really pale. So I hope I don't. I think some people will probably trying to do something new to keep people interested, but I just do what I feel like doing most of the time, because I can't always get enthused about something that is trendy, or I just don't look at that sort of thing very much, you know. I think if you're trying to chase the YouTube algorithm and trying to do things that are popular, you probably will run out of enthusiasm for it because you aren't doing what you're enjoying, and I think it would show, you know. And I do look at some of the larger YouTubers who are trying to hang on to the latest trends, tune into things, and I mean, I think I do to some extent. Like if people are sort of discovering a new brand of pencil or something like that, I'll probably grab it, not because I want to be on trend in the sense of YouTube, but just because I'm nosy and I want to try it out or whatever, you know. So that's a little bit different. When I used to be in colouring groups a lot, I used to see a lot of that, and that is something that I've stopped to give me more energy. I'm not in, don't jump into colouring groups as often, because like on Facebook or whatever, it was taking up a lot of time when I wanted to use that time for recording. And it was also sometimes I found it a little bit draining energy wise, when I mean, some people weren't always posting the nicest things. Some people are I think the way they don't think before they post, or they phrase things in a way that offends people without even thinking about it, without realising what they said has been misinterpreted, things like that, and it could get a little bit political in that sense, and I found that quite difficult as well, even though it didn't involve me, you know, so I sort of ducked out of those. For a while. I'm not really involved in any very much. Occasionally I'll pop in. I want some shadow I'm just trying to choose what colour I want to use. I think I may use the Payne's Grey because it's got a little, Payne's Grey has a bit of purple in, so I think it'll work better with the pink than say a sepia or something, which I use a lot as well. Oh, excuse me. So what I'm thinking is I'm looking at where the leaves overlap and just put in a little bit of sort of shadow marks rather than doing it in pink, which is how I might have done it. I could have done it. I'm just trying to do it in grey just for a bit, make it a bit different and try something a little bit different. I'm really doing it quite faintly though, because they're not coloured in particularly dark, you know, they're quite delicate little blossoms. And so I think if you are trying to stay on trend, or trying to keep up with a lot of different things all the time, that could become quite tiring. So as I say, I've dropped a few things. I used to be a lot more present on Instagram, commenting and posting and things like that, and I look at some things, but I tend not to comment. I do post. I'm not sure if the centres are white or yellow, but I want to do mine white because that's too big though. I'm going to use my 8. I want to do mine white because I think it'll look prettier. So where those dots were that I covered up, I'm now drawing them back in. Of course. I'm going to make quite a lot because I think it will look pretty. Yeah, so I'm just cut back in some areas so that I've got more energy. And it's made me feel much happier as well, so that's good. And yeah, so I'm also still trying to cut back on my news addiction because news is always so depressing. We've actually subscribed, we got given a gift subscription for Christmas to a paper called Positive News, which is much better, has all happy stories, which is good. I am going to put a bit more green on my wood. I don't know if it's going to work or show up. I'm going to give it a try. I want some May green. I'm just going to, maybe I'm being a bit fussy. My neighbour's playing the piano. I can only vaguely hear it through the wall. How nice. Used to be quite difficult for me recording when I was recording in the other room because it's a bit loud, but now because I've got the door shut you can't hear it, so that's okay. Now one thing you could do is if you want to make your blossom look more delicate, you could go around the outside in white pen to take out those black lines, which would sort of reduce that hard edge. But I always feel if I do that, then I have to do it on everything. So I'd have to do it on my branch, on around all here, all these lines. And I think, although it might be worth it, it's a lot of work. And, you know, we've got this little tiny black line here, which I'd have to draw back in green. And then if I do complete the rest of the page, to be honest, I probably won't because I don't have a lot. I've got some other plans. I'm not saying I don't have time. I have lots of time. I just have lots of plans to do, which is very exciting. Anyway, so I may not do the rest, although they're beautiful, I'd like to, but you know. Thing is, if they're in a book, I probably do them because I'd want to complete the book. Because they're on sheets of paper, I don't. Now, books, I did talk to Agata about books. You know, there was a rumour she was doing a book. She had been working towards a book, but she's finding it difficult thinking about finding a publisher and things like that, so she has put that on hold at the moment, which is a shame. However, if you are interested, put something in the comments, because the more interest she has, the more likely she is to do it. We don't want to put pressure on her because obviously we know it's hard, but you know, if she knows people are interested, it might be worth the effort, is what I'm saying. You know, because obviously if you think only a few people are going to buy it and you've got to put a lot of hard work into it, then you know that isn't good. And also, if she wants to find a publisher, the fact that people are saying they want it will provide evidence to that publisher that there is a market for a book out there. But, you know, for now, it doesn't look like that's going to be coming anytime soon, sadly. But, you know, as I say, people are busy and it's not easy. And, you know, when you're trying to make money out of what you're doing, you have to try and focus on those things that, you know, that work for you. But anyway, that is me for today. As I said, all the information you need is in the video description. Lots of other information as well, all sorts of rubbish, all sorts of really interesting things about how to find me on my social medias as well, if you want to go and have a look. I often post completed pictures on my Instagram, my Facebook page, and which I will show in my completed pages videos, but sometimes they come out earlier there, so you get a bit of a sneaky peek, and other bits and pieces as well. So thank you so much for watching. Do download the lovely pages if you like them, and thank you so much, and happy colouring.